You you know what? I was gonna start singing, but I
Oh,
thought
some Kate
better of
Bush.
it. I thought better of it because no one wants to hear me try and sing "Running Up That Hill" because you've heard it too often over the past month.
I mean,
Anyway,
it's a bop. It's a bop. I'm really excited
a
for Kate
bop,
Bush.
a bop.
That's what the kids say.
Is it? Is
Yeah.
that a thing? Is that an actual thing?
Yes,
Do the
that is a
kids
thing.
say that? Who are
Yes.
these kids that are saying this, Janine? Not the Stranger
Mhm.
Things kids, because they're not kids anymore. They're weird 22-year-olds.
Yes, they aged up quite a bit, so it's a little odd, but, um, it's a little strange. That,
So funny.
COVID kind of killed the momentum of their youth and, you know,
Killed
in
killed the natural aging process
I
of
mean,
people.
in terms of, like, filming a show where you start as little kids, you lose a couple years in between, so then the next time we see you when you're allowed to film way past,
Yes.
the television aging process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. Unfortunate. But hello. We are here today, aren't we, Janine, to talk all
Yes.
things. Um all things, I suppose, the ending of
Yeah.
Stranger Things season 4, because a couple of episodes ago on Monday Madness, which you can find also on this YouTube channel, we talked about all of what was volume 1
Yes.
of Stranger Things season 4. Volume 2 came out just this past Friday. We've watched both episodes, one of which was 2.5 hours long and wasn't as good as the one that was 1.5 hours long. So there's a bold statement from Morgan to
Ooh.
start us off. But I am Morgan. Here is Janine. We are here
Hello.
on the It's a Wonderful Podcast YouTube channel. All things Stranger Things. I don't really know where we have to start, Janine. But what I did want to say was, if you want to know what we thought about the majority of the season season 4 of Stranger Things, I would go and I would recommend go and watch. I think will it be episode 2 of Monday
2, I
Madness?
believe? Yes.
It's the one
So
that
2 or
says
3.
Stranger Things in the title.
Yes. 2
So
or 3, I think we talked
it,
about the
it
first half.
it's
Yeah.
that one. But it's all going to be. Please say hi if you are in the chat as well. We want
Yes.
all your thoughts on Stranger Things. And Janine, do you have are we doing
I do.
something fun as well?
I mean, if you leave a funny comment in the chat and like the video and subscribe to the channel,
Yes,
you could win this framed 11 piece of art.
which
Season
has a
2,
lovely
episode
glare
11.
on it.
Yes, I'm
But
trying
yes,
to I can't hold it too straight on, but
make us laugh in the
yes.
chat for the chance to win art.
Yes. I did a fun little
Yes.
Stranger Things series after season 2 with a character and equated them to an 80s movie quote. Um and yeah, so 11's was from Spinal Tap, put it up to 11. So there you go.
So accurate.
I know.
So funny.
Which yeah, also I'm looking for a 80s movie quote that relates to Eddie because I would love to do a version of this design with Eddie now. So if you can come up with a great, I've gotten some solid suggestions, but 80s movie quote
I'm
that
going to
fits
sneeze.
Eddie.
I've just put make us laugh in the chat for the chance to win art. It's also say something useful for the chance to win art. Is
Yes.
also is also valid. Is also valid, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we could just get straight on into it.
I
Do
mean,
we
we can,
really get
yeah.
straight
Let's
on into
let's
it?
do it. Let's do it.
I mean, I said that our episode 8, Papa, was I preferred that episode to the actual finale. And that's for 2 reasons, really. One, that felt like a finale. It felt like the final conclusion of
Yeah.
a particularly major Stranger Things storyline. the relationship between Eleven and Matthew Modine, who is no more. Janine.
Yeah. Which
Funnily
I thought
enough,
he was no more long ago, and then he kind of
right,
yeah
who is
came back
officially
with a
no
scarred up
more.
face. Yeah.
He's officially no more now. But I also just wanted to say, this is a Stranger Things Season 4 full spoiler discussion. It says so in the title, so don't come complaining that we're talking about spoilers for Stranger Things Season 4.
Yes.
It's very clear. I think it's very clear.
It is.
But it felt very, very significant. And it felt
Yeah.
much more significant than anything that actually happened in the actual finale. It felt like the conclusion of something major, whereas the actual finale felt like a big fight. But what ended? Nothing.
But then you will also get like the planning stages and the big build up to the big fight at the end in this one. So that's also kind of
Exactly.
what draws you in. Where is this going to go? Oh my gosh, I'm getting excited. You're kind of figuring out that not everyone's going to be together. They're going to still be separated, but they're finding a way to do what they can where they're at and contribute to this bigger fight. So that's all kind of like, how is that going to work? So I think you're still getting the like, okay, something cool. You're still in the mindset of something cool could still come out of this. The planning stages are really exciting on top of, getting hit with that emotional kind of beat with Dr. Brenner. And
Papa.
also, yeah, we get some big epic explosions and, 11 being a badass and, definitely upping the stakes for sure.
Yes, and we always like to see 11 be a badass, I think, don't we? Hello, Steve and
Yes.
Heather in the
Hello. Hi.
chat. Steve says, yeah, I don't know how Vecna wasn't beaten. Well, I think actually Vecna was beaten, but there's obviously still Mr. Big Mind Flayer, whoever the hell. You can push people down in the Upside Down, can't you? You can just all the demons. You can just say, just go away for now.
But it's like
This has been 4 seasons of Stranger 4. Go away for now, and then come back.
Come back when we need you. But it's like he's kind of created these. Well, he didn't create them, but he seemed like he's in control of them. So if he is seemingly,
well, yeah, I mean, Vecna
injured,
is very, very powerful. Or he was very, very powerful. And I must say, I mean, my sign today says Vecna for life. I was a big fan of Vecna.
Of course you were.
I think Vecna's my favorite out of all the demons so far.
Well, I mean, all of them, now you kind of learn were just minions of his. So,
right.
Of course, he's going to be the best one.
But
and we get those really interesting layers of his story, as a kid and being number one.
This is something,
and,
this is something we got really into during our conversation on that episode of Monday Madness. The Mind Flayer existed before Vecna, so yes, I think the Mind Flayer is isn't the Mind Flayer the big spidery thing?
Yes, but it looks like a spider because he made it look like a spider.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's that spider thing. Oh,
yeah,
that's a good point. Vecna's very powerful. Netflix's Smoke Monster. Heather says something interesting actually here. It says, I hated the adult storyline, but I liked the kid story, or the adult story. It's not adult, is it? There was nothing adult about.
Yeah.
There's a difference. Have you ever noticed that? There's a difference between the word adult and the word adult.
Yes.
And we all know the difference. Heather didn't like the adult storyline, but she liked the kid storyline. I really did like Hopper and Joyce and what's his face called?
Murray.
What's his other Murray? I was going to call him Morris.
What? Excuse me.
Murray and Jack and Hagar and all that business. I really liked that.
I mean, there were moments I liked and moments I didn't like. I was just getting frustrated that it was like they were so close and then were, and then they're so close and then were, and they're so close and then were. Like it just like it's just
It,
I didn't
it
like
just
them
felt like
being
something.
so
It felt like something totally different for
yeah.
Stranger Things. And this, I'm a fan of Stranger Things. I'm not a huge lover of Stranger Things. Um, there's people that absolutely adore this show and have adored it since day one. I've watched it since it
Yeah.
first came out, and I've always enjoyed it. But I've never been, for some reason, I've never been massively drawn into as much as I've felt at times I should have been. But this storyline of the kind of Russian prison break aspect of it,
Yeah.
and Hopper just being really having to fight and struggle and survive, and his kind of reuniting with Joyce, and particularly this is something that was great about the actual finale, his reuniting with 11 was really sweet to me. Those were the
Yeah.
most emotional moments of the series for me, and of
But
this volume 2 for me. They were.
I also felt like the show just is too afraid to like commit to a big kill, you know?
It very much is.
Yeah.
It doesn't mind killing off people that you've been introduced to that season.
Yeah.
But it as we found out, really. And this is why I'm glad that, I mean, you do make a good point. We did think that Matthew Modine was dead,
Yeah.
but I think it's safe to say you don't got to fake kill somebody twice, you
Yeah.
know. But I think it is a problem with Stranger Things, really. And I know we were promised before Volume 2 came out, oh, there's gonna be, a kill list. There's gonna be people that die in this
Yeah,
Volume
and
2.
Steve was at the top of that list. People were like, "Oh no, they're really gonna do it.
Yeah.
They're gonna get they can't, Steve's always getting beat up. Steve's always getting and now he's gonna make the ultimate sacrifice and just, whatever." And yeah, they ended up not really going with that. So, yeah,
Steve
did
says
they ever
Paul
really show
Reiser
what
lives.
happened? Did they
I don't
happen?
know.
Because she blew up that whole base, right? And he was still
I assume
inside
Paul
there,
Reiser
right?
does not live, but who's to say?
But he redeemed himself from aliens, so that's all that matters.
Oh yeah. um, yeah, safe to say. Safe to say. Steve is a hero. You are a hero, Steve, and Steve Harrington is also a hero. But Steve Harrington would be more of a hero if he'd have actually died or even come close to dying.
Yeah, because I mean, while I appreciate the kind of arc of Eddie's death and the fact that they established that he feels a lot of shame for running away and not sticking things out. Like the way the reason he had to die, it's not like he was protecting anybody. He literally was just like those bats weren't doing anything that was going to affect the main
I know he was just
kind
being
of
cool and playing
situation.
Metallica on his guitar.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know, like, yes, those bat things might have kind of interfered a little bit, but I don't know that I wanted it to be something more integral to protecting the plan as a whole, or protecting the town as a whole, or protecting some of our characters as a whole, you
Yeah,
know?
but I look, I liked the character of Eddie. I
I loved Eddie. I think a lot of people fell in love with Eddie Munson. He did a lot in a short amount of time,
He
and
did do a lot
he's
in a
great.
short amount of time. He did. I agree with Steve in the chat as well. Dustin and his father. See, I thought it was his father, but you said before it was his
I thought
uncle.
it I thought it was his uncle.
Well, I'm just Mr. Munson. Let's call him Mr.
Yes, Mr.
Munson.
Munson.
The scene, yes, at the end with Dustin and Mr. Munson was a great scene.
Yeah,
Very emotional, and I appreciated that. Because while yes, we saw Eddie's death and he helped, it wasn't the most heroic. It wasn't like a death that someone like Steve would have gotten.
Yeah, like if
Steve would have
there was
definitely
a
gotten a
monster, like if
protecting
there was a
death.
monster that was about to like attack Nancy or attack the group or something, and he stepped up and like
Yeah.
got, then that would have felt more like something. But like you literally were able to get away. You did what you needed to do, but now you're gonna like kind of do extra, which is basically kind of what Steve told them not to do, you know?
Yes, kind of. But it has to be said with Eddie, he died trying to help save the town that hated him. So
Yes,
in
like I
that way,
love when
it
when
is
Dustin brings up that
yeah.
point, like it feels real special. Um yeah, that was a really hard scene because I watched it yesterday. I if you haven't seen it on my socials, I did a Downton Abbey kind of little party with my Carla, and so we did like tea and watched the first movie, and so obviously then I made like a four-course dinner, so to kind of work ourselves up for the dinner and take a break from our tea
4
and snacks and
courses.
sandwiches. Yes, she hadn't watched Stranger Things yet, so we watched Stranger Things, that the last two episodes. We put that on in between, so fresh in my mind is like all of these things. And yes, we both, Eddie death scene, we were both just like weeping. And then the Dustin and his uncle scene, weeping again. So yes,
Yeah, see,
definitely
I
had the emotional impact. Even though I feel like what he did was kind of unnecessary to the bigger plan in protecting the bigger plan, it still, you still felt like what they were trying to give you, but I think I would have felt it more if it was something that he was protecting or preventing of hurting the other characters or hurting the overall plan. But
yeah.
it still made an impact because obviously me and Carla were sitting there like crying. So yeah.
Um I also agree here. Murray is fun and does have a
Yes,
lot of dumb
karate
luck.
black belt expert. uh,
He
was
is
pretty
very fun.
great.
He is
He
very
looks
funny.
pretty badass with the flame thrower.
Who doesn't look badass with a
Yeah, I
flamethrower?
think
Everyone
it's
looks badass with a
difficult. It's
flamethrower.
difficult not to.
I would burn my own face off if I had. Give me a flamethrower. Oh no, it would be
Yeah,
horrible.
I think you could
Um,
figure out how to look cool with a turtleneck and a flamethrower.
well, yeah, I would need to in Russia. It's cold,
Yeah.
cold in Russia. But no, It was an emotional scene, but as I've said, like the more emotional moments for me were mainly Hopper related for me in this whole season. And out of all the moments of this season and all the kind of story elements, I suppose, the story revelations were what impressed me the most. The whole situation with Vecna, I think, is just really good storytelling and just a
Yeah.
really
The layers that were peeled back
wonderful
from
way.
that were
Yeah,
really well done, and it was a
a
nice surprise.
just a wonderful way of putting that all together and
Yes.
making such a crazy thing make sense and have connected depth to it.
And even the
I
setup,
love that sort
because
of stuff.
when the season starts, you're kind of led to believe that Eleven's this monster. She's the one who killed all these kids. What have you done?
Yeah,
All of this. So, like that setup to like kind of then throw your expectations to what really happened, I think was really smart to kind of bookend it with
yeah.
this preconceived notion, and even this thought that Eleven's thinking that she's this kind of monster. Um, and then we finally get the reveal of what the truth is. I think was a really kind of good bookend for that first half.
And I like Vecna in the volume 2 as well, because he's just
Yeah.
kind of
I mean, I think
being
people
very all
menacing,
powerful.
but I think people were also kind of thinking it was like a little bit of a cop out. Look, he has all this power. Why isn't he just killing them? But I think
I
that's
don't
kind of
think he
how
should have done.
but I think that's kind of how these villains work, particularly if you're watching like an 80s movie. Your villain wants, feels like they've already won. He has respect for Eleven to some degree.
He does.
She, freed him. Not only did she free him, but she put him in this world that has given him all this power to do the things he wouldn't be who he was without her. So I think they established well enough that he's not going to straight up kill her. It's a level of respect to a certain point that now, like he even said it, I thought you could run this world by my side, but now I just want you to watch. I'm so egotistical. I want to show you that you were the one who did this. I want to, put this on you and make this feel like your mistake that I've won because of you, that I want to show you what I can do. So I think they established well enough for me that it made sense he didn't kill her right away. He wanted her to see, what he was capable of because of what she did. So I think that was
Yeah.
established well enough that like I wasn't like, oh, why isn't he just killing her? He has all the power. Well, this is just wasting time. This is just a cop out. Like I think they were backed it up enough to
And ultimately, I don't
justify.
think you kill 11 anyway,
No.
especially considering I don't think. Well, sorry, my mind went in two different ways. And I don't think because we are getting a season 5 that I wasn't even aware we were even getting before starting to watch season 4. I thought this was it. To be perfectly
Yeah.
honest, I really did. But we are getting a 5th season.
But I've
You
that's
don't
what
even
kinda,
kill. You don't even kill off 11 at all now. It's just it doesn't. It wouldn't make real sense to. But at the end of this season, killing off a Steve would have made so much more
an
impact.
impact. Yeah. Even if they had
Actually
committed,
following through.
and even if they had followed through with like Max,
Yeah.
I think that would have been. But to leave her kind of just beaten up and broken after everything,
I
it's
was
like, yeah,
quite.
of course you don't want to lose the character. So part of you is like, okay, I'm glad they didn't kill her. But then another part of me is like, if you're gonna leave her like this, you should have just committed
This is
to
what
the
I mean.
loss.
This is what I mean. I think she's, Max has been a great character since she's come in. She's
Yes.
got all these different fun aspects of her and really kind of
Interesting
traumatic
things that she's
aspects
going
to her
through.
as well.
Yeah. And Sadie Sink,
That
amazing performance this season. Amazing performance from
100%.
Sadie Sink. Yeah.
And that obviously, that episode and particular scene, Kate Bush scene earlier in the series, is arguably the best scene in the season.
Yeah.
And that's all, very much Max related. Max is a very core part of this, and certainly season 3 as well. But this season,
It was
she
kind of like her moment.
really has been a
Yeah.
core part.
She put
So it would have made
Kate Bush
total
back
sense.
on the charts.
She did, and it would have made total sense. It would have been, because it was very emotional. You've got,
Yeah.
Lucas there crying, screaming for help because he's, holding her in his arms. That is a bottle job, to put it a little bit harshly.
Yeah.
That they didn't follow through with it. They're terrified, clearly, of actually doing something that people might not like just because it's actually what the story should do.
Yeah. Because they've created these beloved characters, and so they're having a hard time.
They're having a
really
hard time
committing.
getting rid of them.
Yes,
They can get rid of Eddie.
Sat with.
They
Yeah,
can get rid of Eddie. He's
they can
only
get
been
rid of
here for a
Barb. They
season.
can get rid of Eddie. They can get rid of Billy. They can get rid of
Get
these
rid of
characters.
Billy.
That,
Get rid of Bob, Sean Astin.
Yes, I mean he was great. People loved Bob, but
Right?
they literally with Eddie's the same exact thing they did to Bob. They make you fall in love with him, and then he has a noble sacrifice. Yeah, same thing. So it's easy to kill off. I think it's easy for them to kill off new characters because they're new, but I think they've done their job of making it impactful because they've made you fall in love with the character. So they're like, okay, well, we've done enough to kill off a lovable fan favorite character, but it's not part of the OG people. So we're getting the impact without,
like I was even saying
characters.
I was even saying a couple of weeks ago how, because I like Hopper. Hopper's great. Like I've said, Hopper was very emotional character for me this season, and I really liked the Russian prison stuff. I did. If other
There were
people didn't,
elements of it I liked for sure, but yeah, just being there, like, because I really thought there was
I would
gonna be
have
a
rather
whole
spent
moment.
I would have rather spent more time there.
Really?
Just I
Okay.
would just
Okay.
going through surviving, going through kind of it would have. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
I
why
liked
I'm
I
getting
like
gut reactions, gut feelings.
well, no, I think it's fair. There were some elements there that I definitely enjoyed, but like that wasn't the storyline that I really wanted to sit in the most. Um, I found myself kind of being bummed when it was kind of established that they weren't all going to come together to fight this thing together in Hawkins. Like once I realized, oh, okay, yeah, they're like 2,000 miles away from Indiana. They're
Yeah.
not going to make it there. Even if they fly, they're not going to get there until such and such time. So maybe they're going to like find the open rift in Russia that leads to Hawkins and go back maybe that way. So they'll get there in time. Like I thought something like that was going to happen. But once it was kind of established that they weren't all going to be together, I found myself being a little bit bummed. But I think they worked it out well to how everyone was kind of working together at the same time to kind of
Yeah. And
kill this thing. But it was a bummer that the Mike, Will, Jonathan, Argyle crew kind of, it's all 11. So they had nothing to do. They're literally just sitting there watching her. So that felt really lame.
Look,
And kind of
if that crew didn't have 11, you might as well not have them in
not then yeah,
the
they might not
entire
be they might
season.
as well not be there at all. And yes, they try to throw something in there with uh Will reminding Mike that he's the heart of the group and all of these things. But I don't think Mike has been the heart of the group since season one. Mike was the core heart of the group for sure, 100% season one. But Mike has not been that character in 2 or 3. And even this one, he's kind of been addicted to his friends, just obsessed with just being with 11, not really worried about keeping the group together. Like, if they had, yes, of course, you have a girlfriend now. That's kind of what you're thinking about where your head's at. But still keep that core heart of him being frustrated with the group's not sticking together. That, Will's been through a lot, Will's missed a lot, let's support Will in this time. He wants to play D&D, we're gonna let him do whatever he wants because he's been through some tough shit, 2 seasons in a row. I'm the heart of this group. No matter what, girls, whatever, I'm going to keep this group together. If they had kept those elements from Mike in seasons 2 and 3, then, and then maybe seen him lean towards focusing more on 11 and less on the group later, then Will reminding him that he's been the heart that's held them together would have made more sense. But Mike has not been the heart since that first season. So like I wanted to get behind that speech. I wanted to get behind that whole aspect of the story, but it was difficult for me.
Well, yeah, because they were good speeches, and
Yes.
Noah Schnapp's breaking voice aside, he's
Oh
giving
my
a
gosh, always
good
coming for these
performance
kids.
in those things. And I don't know
Yes.
why his voice still sounds like it is breaking when he's clearly. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but he's got to be 20, right? Is he not? Like he's
They
he's
started
going to be
they were
18ish.
all 12 when the show started except Lucas. I think Lucas was 14 when the show started and the rest of them were
Right.
like 11 or 12. He was the youngest, I believe. So I think he was maybe
Okay.
11 when everyone else was 12. So,
Okay.
yeah, do the math.
But still, when is Stranger Things? What, 2014? I want to say
Yeah, I think so.
something like that. That the first one came out. So, okay, his voice still shouldn't be breaking though when he's 19.
I didn't notice his voice breaking. His voice just sounded like
It sounded like
deeper.
Daniel Radcliffe in the Chamber of Secrets. It was horrible to listen to.
I'm coming for these poor kids.
But he does have a couple of really emotional speeches and decent scene performances. Patrick Harden.
Patrick.
Hello, good sir.
Yes.
How are you?
Our
I
infamous
hope
lurker.
you're well.
Thank you for stopping by, Patrick. And Steve, I don't know,
Please.
Steve might be in the lead here for the comment that makes us laugh. Lucas definitely looked like he
Oh,
was ready
that's
for a Kid
the
and Play
what's
reboot.
movies that? Remind me of the movie that I've seen.
Class Act, we covered it on the
Class
show.
Act.
Yeah.
Class Act, yes. With the flat top.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to remind those watching now, because there are definitely people watching who have not said hi and make us laugh in the chat for
Yes.
the chance to win the art. Janine, show off the art again.
Without the glare, I'll try.
So
Yes.
you can have the chance to win this art print of 11 from Stranger Things,
Frame.
designed by Janine. If you simply make us laugh in the chat and say hi, you will be put together and a winner will be chosen. There you go.
Yes.
House party.
Yes. Also, Kid and Play vehicle. So yeah, Lucas could definitely.
Oh, I
know
thought
what that'd
Patrick was
do.
suggesting we were having a house party.
No,
I see.
another Kid and Play film.
I see. But yeah, okay. So Will does have his emotional scenes. He has one particularly with Mike, and it's very well done because he turns away and kind of cries to himself. You feel that. He also
Yeah.
has one
And
with
loved
Jonathan.
his moment with Jonathan because when he's having that moment in the car, you see Jonathan kind of being aware and peeking in the review, and he kind of is listening and seeing his brother. So when he takes that moment to like make him laugh and then ease into like, I'm sorry I haven't been present, like, I'm always here for you. Like that brotherly scene between the two of them was really great. And, he kind of said he knows without knowing, because I think obviously there were some hints to Will being gay and that kind of coming out. And
This is something that annoys me as well, though, Janine. I mean, if you're going to do it, do it. This
and
is
then just do
this
it.
is my problem with, and this hasn't got anything
Like
to do with Stranger
Robin
Things on Netflix.
they were able to kind of quickly just put that out there with Robin, and it's established, and it's just like,
Right?
okay. But just this
But
dancing around with
it's
Will,
so annoying.
and is it stemmed from some feelings he's having towards Mike, and like, so yeah, just like
Stop
do it. So
baiting.
while I liked that Jonathan kind of put it out there that, no matter what, it doesn't matter, I'm going to be here for you. I liked that he didn't have to say it to Jonathan for him to be aware, but like just say it so that, like, it's an establishing,
Right.
we can move past it, and that's just, it is what
It's
it is.
just it's real annoying audience baiting. It's what
Yeah.
Disney does. It's just, ooh, let's put a gay character in this scene.
So we
Let's
can
not
like,
actually say anything, but let's just put a gay character and then applaud ourselves. Oh, aren't we
yes,
good?
and then we check
Aren't we
that
good?
box.
Aren't we good for putting that in? Make it an actual part of the story then, rather than just saying it might be, it might not be. If it was and was part of the story, yes, great, perfect, love that, absolutely. Make it part of the story. Don't tease and bait and then act like you've actually done something.
Yeah.
Don't. It's so painfully annoying. I don't want. And look, Harry Potter did this retroactively, didn't it, with Dumbledore? But there's nothing alluding to Dumbledore actually being gay in the Harry Potter books at all. And then afterwards, they just go, "Oh, Dumbledore's gay." It's like, what? Why? It's so annoying. If you're gonna do that, make it a thing.
Yes.
Which
Well,
is why
so
I
Patrick
half
says Will.
enjoyed certain scenes in the latest Fantastic Beasts movie that were actually kind of very obviously this is what's happening.
Oh, okay. Well, so he says Will isn't ready to come out, and that is fine.
It
But
is fine.
the show has built
The
up
show
that
was ready
he
to.
is.
The show was ready for him to.
Yeah. This show
That's my
has set
problem.
it up that he was ready to. The show has set up that he's building towards revealing something. So, as a young character in this time period, yes, it makes sense that he wouldn't be ready. But the show and the people running the show have decided to pepper so much of this in there that you feel like he might be working up to be ready to say those things. And when they don't do it, I'm not putting it on Will, the character. I'm
No,
putting it on the
not putting it
people
on Will
who
at all.
created the show, who are putting that out there for us to pick up these pieces and think that that is what's coming.
It's not
You
an
know?
issue I have with Will. It's an issue I have with the producers of Stranger Things. It's like, if you're going to put it in there, actually make it a thing. There's no point just trying and then
These
acting
like
like you've
big
done
moments
something
and these
clever.
looks and these illusions and these comments and yeah.
It's annoying. And it's the complete wrong way of going about that sort of stuff as well. So,
Yeah.
if he's in love with Mike, the problem is Mike likes girls and he's in love with 11. It's not a Will. It's not a Will issue.
Yeah.
It's a producer issue.
It's just what the show was. The show decided to put out there with him so much and lean so heavily into that this season that was like a plot point that people were like expecting, waiting for, thinking about. That's where it's like, okay, why'd you lean so heavily into this if it's not something this character is ready to reveal yet, you know?
Yeah, we would not be saying any of this if he had have actually said something in the show.
Like they in the beginning, the first episode, Elle's doing her voiceover. He's making a painting. I think it's for a girl he might like. Then a girl touches his foot. Oh, he pulls away. You know, all these jealous glances of Mike with 11. Like, just so many things that they just were peppering in.
The haircut.
What is that supposed to mean? I'm pretty sure that haircut probably more applies to being poor and having your mom cut your hair more than being a gay person in the 80s.
I think it's very particularly.
No, I do. I would not. I just stop talking. I wouldn't put that haircut on a gay men thing. I would put it on a poor person, mom's cutting their hair with a bowl thing. Okay. Yes, I've seen some very funny memes that the real villain of Stranger Things is Will Sparber.
You know what? This particular season, it's never seemed to bother me before, but oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Steve, exactly. It's like the MCU Disney inclusion, but worse. Because the Duffer Brothers couldn't commit with their setups. Exactly. And this is what Disney does all the damn time.
Yeah, see, Patrick sometimes had that haircut in 1986. So, you know.
Yeah. Patrick. Oh dear. Patrick, if you do have a picture, you might be winning the art for the making us laugh.
Yes.
Oh, the barber was the real villain. You are absolutely right.
100%.
So
yes, terrible. I'm really kind of bummed that crew just was literally just sitting there watching 11 in a tub and really didn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
So they kind of had to just throw that you're the heart chant, 11 on speech, which I like in theory the idea of it, but in kind of going back and realizing, Mike lost that, Essence is the heart after season 1. So it was kind of hard.
Dustin's the heart.
Yes.
Dustin's the one you feel for the most. Dustin's the one that has the most. I don't know. You empathize with him the most. He's just he's the sweetest one. He's the lovable one out of them all.
He still rides hard for his crew, even with having a girlfriend and being into girls. Right. Like, he still didn't lose that kind of energy of wanting to spend time with his friends and the party.
I mean, yes, his girlfriend is a genius and lives all the way across the country.
Yes.
So it's not easy for Dustin to just spend a lot of time with her.
Yes, that is true. But I don't think he rides the line well of like growing into more mature things, but also still wanting to keep that party together, caring about your friends, caring about the people in your life, and not just be having the single-minded drive of I'm mature now, so I just want to do mature things,
Yeah.
Which happened to Mike.
It did. Yeah. It did happen to Mike. I don't know. What else can we get into? What else can we really get into? Or what's the next logical thing
I
for us
mean,
to
I
get
don't know.
into.
I kind of wanted more FUs to the mob mentality situation.
I think that it speaks to a bit of an issue with this finale, I think, is that it's so unfinale like, and particularly for a 2.5 hour episode of television, which is absurd, really, isn't it? I mean, why and where
Yeah.
is it 2.5 hours? It was 2.5 hours of a setup of season 5. It was not 2.5 hours of a conclusion of season 4.
Yeah, because every other season did like this subtle, like, we're not done yet, but like everyone thought it was done. Like season one ends, nice Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner, or whatever it is. Everyone's happy. Will is back. Looks like everything's normal. Will steps away to the bathroom, pukes up a upside down slug. Oh my gosh, where is this gonna go? Even if the show ended there, I think that would still be a cool ending, because now it's just like, wow, this is not over. This is crazy. Then you have the end of the dance, and everything seems happy, everyone's happy, but then it flips and you see the creepy upside down version of the dance. So like every season kind of had something that told you this isn't over yet, but it
But
wasn't
the
like in your face.
characters
The
didn't know.
characters believed that it was over.
Yeah.
And now when you have everyone looking to the sky, they know something's coming. It's literally like a setup to season 5, like you said.
And I don't think. I mean, it's strange because I'm quite pessimistic about season 5, really, because this finale didn't pull the bold punches that I wanted it to do.
Yeah.
And not that this is my personal opinion. It's right or wrong. It doesn't come into it. It's just a personal opinion. But I think it'd be massively successful, obviously. And I hope that at least season 5 ends up with some actual legitimate emotion, because the heavy emotion at the end of season 4 is not negative, it's not sadness,
Yeah.
it's reuniting. It's kind of love emotion rather than sadness.
Yeah.
And you think after all this is the biggest fight, the biggest battle they're going up against the absolute most powerful force they've come up against, who actually used to be a human, so it's even more, it's
And
actually
he
got
has a direct
real
connection to
connections to
11.
11,
Yeah.
and to all the stuff we've seen going on with 11, with 11's creation, with all that kind of stuff. Hello, Kimber.
Hello,
How are
beautiful
you in the
lady.
chat?
How are you, Kimber?
Because it's got all that in there. Why didn't Max die? Why
Yeah.
didn't somebody else who could have, maybe wasn't a core, but a Steve, a Jonathan, a oh God, I've forgotten, a Nancy, even, and I said this to you, I think, a few weeks ago, and this would have killed me, but I'd have loved it from a story perspective, is that you have all this Russia storyline, Hopper surviving all this time, just to be torn apart by some sort of demon right as he
Of course, you would
escapes.
love that.
Right as he escapes. And he gets, and Joyce just is with him.
Yes.
And it's morbid and it's horrible. But my God, you'd have been talking about the sadness of that for months.
Yeah.
You would have been talking about the sadness of that for months.
Yes.
Eric
And he
Garcia
definitely
in the chat. I've watched it all and still don't remember all the names. I'm very much the same.
Yes.
Very, very much the same.
Yes, their bandmate Daniel. He's definitely Eddie. 100%.
Oh, I just thought, I actually thought for the smallest second there.
Daniel Moon.
Wow.
What?
No, I'm a little bit confused now.
What?
Eddie was actually at this wedding?
Oh, Tom and Kimber's friend, Daniel Moon, is literally like the embodiment
Oh,
of
I
the character
see.
of Eddie
Right.
Munson.
See, I got confused. I thought Eddie Munson was at the wedding.
And
And
no.
that I would have been impressed by that.
I think I would have told you that.
Yeah, it's probably true. You would have done. You would have done. Look, I'm not saying this would have been a nice thing to happen for Hopper to be brutally murdered after going through all that, but my God, you'd have
And
been
then
talking about it. It would have had impact.
But even like, no, I
And
think we
11
could
would
do
have lost two fathers, exactly. But imagine the redemption of season 5. Then imagine them all fighting the struggle within themselves to get that one. They've lost everything, absolutely everything, and they get season 5 to find the little dregs of love and positivity they have left and use it all to finally win. That's how a story works.
I mean, I think the story that we were being told in this season, I think the most plausible deaths that would have had the impact but also fit with the story would have been Steve or Max.
Right?
Yes.
And they so nearly succeeded, and
Yeah.
then they bottle jobbed out of it.
Yeah. So it's like either kill Max, have her survive, or and those are your choices. Don't leave her broken and lost, and that was tough.
Look,
Yes.
yeah,
I cried too. Me and my friend Carla was over, and we were in straight tears. Yeah.
accurate, Kimber. Accurate.
Yes.
Was a sad death. Was a very sad death. But I think the sadness of the death was beaten out by the coolness of the Master of Puppetsness.
I was like, that was my most anticipated thing. Like, I don't care about, like, literally for me, I was just like, what song is Eddie gonna play? As soon as I saw that image of him shredding, I was like, what song is it gonna be? What song is it gonna be? And then yes, it was perfect.
I do like the song as well.
Yeah.
I've not took the time to
Like,
listen
of
to
course,
it
it's
in
Metallica. It's
ages, but
great.
I
Yeah.
do. It makes
Mhm.
total sense. You can't have Samwise and Hopper both die from demi beasts. Max should have been it, or Lucas sacrifice. Even though I like Max, I like Max too. I really like Max as a character. Lucas sacrifice would have been bold because he is core. He is
Yes.
absolutely core. That would have been very bold.
Okay, Patrick, looking like a Will Byers here. I got the picture.
Oh, Janine's got the picture. I don't have the picture.
It's great. Oh my gosh, Patrick, so adorable too. Do you mind if I show your picture, Patrick?
I think there's probably a reason he sent it just to you.
Yeah.
Eric Garcia says Lucas was the only one with a good haircut. Very, very true.
That is true. Yes.
Very, very true.
He did look pretty good.
Finn Wolfhard looks like a scarecrow. Noah Schnapp looks like whatever the hell that was supposed to be. I mean, no, I actually think Gaten Matarazzo suits his kind of permy mullet thing.
Yes.
I actually think he suits it.
I liked it all zhuzhed up for the dance too.
Yes.
But Eddie, yes.
Eddie
wins the hair game 100%.
Steve's got good hair.
That's his thing. That's his trademark thing.
Jonathan's hair's a bit messy.
Patrick said I could show it.
Patrick said you could show it. Okay. Get ready for.
Yeah, see, that's pretty.
Oh, it's perfect.
I think it's actually better though.
It does look better, to be honest. Patrick, whoever cut your hair, I assume this is a mother's bowl haircut. Did a much better job.
Yes.
Than Joyce Byers. Mullets are cool. Me, a person who has a mullet.
It's a mullet. Hashtag Kentucky Waterfall.
Yes. Mullets can look good, like Daryl Hall from Hall and Oates. Good mullet,
Yeah.
you know? But mullets can also look terrible. Chris Waddle, former England footballer, who, please go and Google Chris
Yeah.
Waddle's mullet
I'm like,
because
I have
it's
no
just
concept of
horrendous.
that mullet, but
Way better than Will. Way better than Will Patrick.
yes,
So we
yes,
have to
definitely.
acknowledge that. Yeah, I don't even remember what else I was gonna. Oh, I did want to bring this up actually. I did write this. When we did talk about the majority of Stranger Things season 4, the volume 1, in
Mhm.
our Monday Madness episode, we answered our questions of what was our Vecna song.
Oh,
Janine, didn't we?
yes. Yes, we did.
If I remember right, yours was Take on Me by Aha,
Yes.
and mine was Message in a Bottle by The Police. So I am asking the question to the chat. What's your Vecna song?
Oh, that's a good
I
question.
want to know the chat's Vecna
What is
song.
your running up that hill?
I want to know the song because we now assume Eddie's is not that it worked for him, but we now assume Eddie's is Master of Puppets
Yeah.
because he can just listen.
But I even
Just-
loved
and
when
it
they were trying to
helps him.
find music for Nancy in Eddie's music, and they're like trying to find all these like pop things, and they're like, he's like, what are you looking for? They're like, music. This is music. And he probably just has a bunch of like metal tapes.
Kimber's is Rainbow Connection by the Muppets.
Yes.
I mean, I love the song. Does it fit the tone of
I'd like to call Kimber
Surviving Vecna?
the master of Muppets. To Eddie's master.
The Master of Muppets. The Master of Muppets. Oh, Kimber also says, I can't. Bimini, I assume that is pronounced. Bimini Bon Boulash has a mullet, who is the current UK drag queen. Fair enough.
Oh, okay.
I was not aware of that.
Yes, she did. It was beautiful. Let's walk down
Patrick's
the aisle.
is
Rainbow
Give Me
Connection.
One Reason by Tracy Chapman.
Okay. Solid pick.
Heather, what is your Vecna song? Steve, what is your Vecna song? Other people who are watching who have yet to say hi because I can count. What is your Vecna song? I'm still just hung up on the fact that Rainbow Connection is just kind of a way too slow song for the running away chase situation. Let's
like I don't
run
think it
away
has to
from a
be an
demon.
intense song. It just but like if you want the impact of like that Max running for her life.
You can't run
get
to
away from
Rainbow
Vecna.
Connection, you know.
Yeah,
Imagine running to
think-
Rainbow Connection.
Like if we just put other people's songs over that scene and see which ones work the best.
We should do that.
We should do.
We should do that.
We should do edits of that.
You can't do anything other than just sit there in happy tears to Rainbow Connection. You can't move.
And
You
Vecna's
can't
just
dance.
like
You can't run.
Vecna's just like scratching his.
It's like, what's this
veins,
frog
like-
singing about?
Like what? What is
Why is this
happening
frog
right
got a
now?
banjo?
Oh my god.
Oh dear. Oh, Steve, don't bottle out of it. I like too many different music genres and artists. So do I, but I still come up with one. Tom in the chat has come in saying his
Okay.
would be Movies by Alien Ant Farm.
Okay.
Honestly, something I have never heard of in my entire life. But that's not surprising coming from Tom, who likes interesting small
Yes.
things that I have no concept of.
He's a unique soul. We love that.
We do love that. We do love that. I know it's a tough question.
It is because
It's
there's so
a
many
very
great
tough
songs.
question.
So many songs that like make you feel something. So yeah, I think you would just have to go with the song that makes you kind of intensely feel something that would,
I
break you
just
out of a difficult moment.
I picked Message in a Bottle because it fits, sending out an SOS,
Yeah.
and it's got the vibe, it's got the
I thought your pick
right.
would be St. Elmo's Fire.
St.
song.
Elmo's Fire.
You-
It would
'cause
work.
It's a running joke with the two of us that I hate that song and you were like think it's a great song.
Tom, excuse me, it's not obscure, you are just young. It's as though you don't know me at all, and the kind of things I am into.
He's the youngest old man ever.
This is It's a Wonderful Podcast, a YouTube channel that was birthed off a podcast feed that was birthed off a podcast one show that is based around celebrating old movies. So you can shut up with all your ageism. I will not stand for it.
Oh.
These are just giving me more songs to listen to now.
To
though,
learn
be fair.
and listen, yeah.
Benjamin Button, as Kimber says.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
We're
I am
gonna-
Benjamin
we're
Button.
gonna- I think Kimber might, be on her way to winning this print. She's making me laugh quite a bit.
No, I wouldn't say I'm into early 2000s alt rock necessarily, to be honest with you. So fair
That's
point
me.
there.
That's more me.
Fair point there.
When I thought I was like some skater kid who didn't skate but hung out with all the skater kids.
Disco. I'm into disco.
You are surprisingly into disco.
I am into disco.
And the St. Elmo's Fire song.
And the St. Elmo's Fire song, which Janine does hate.
I really want to
But
put
would
that
also
song
work.
over the edit of Max running and seeing it work. St.
It would
Elmo's
work.
Fire burning in me.
It's-
Yeah.
You need to find the right tone for a Vecna song. It's not necessarily about the song.
Oh my gosh, yes. You guys,
Oh.
there were talks of you two starting a spook talk show.
Yes, we're going to put this up. Oh, I can't put it on. Why
I
can't
think
put it on?
both of us are trying to
Oh.
do it.
Spook Talk, yes,
Yes.
the soon-to-be coming horror podcast from me and Kimber that may happen, but may not happen, but may happen.
Yes.
Photographed by Def Leppard. Def Leppard's got to be a good one to
Okay, yeah.
do that sort of stuff by, to be fair. Yes, Patrick.
Ever. Oh, Tom.
Oh, put it up. Put it up.
Yes.
Super Freak. Yes.
Plastic Super Freak. So good.
Works so well.
Oh, yes. High Voltage, I think, would be a good one. Oh.
What does Steve say here? But if I'm scaring a demon from another dimension, might need Public Enemy.
Oh. Okay, I like that.
Annie Lent, Nora Jones, Sarah McLachlan. You're getting all these slow ballads. Sarah McLachlan and Nora Jones.
If you started playing Sarah McLachlan, would Vecna just make sad, like, stare at you puppy dog eyes, like, don't send me to the pound. For 5 cents, you could save a Vecna.
A Vecna's for life, not just for Christmas. Oh my god.
I did too. I liked the Journey kind of remix.
Oh yeah, there's
and
a
intense
separate ways,
build-up.
wasn't it?
Yeah, while they were
Yeah.
like on the way, like I think that was like
Running
the end
up
of the
that
first
hill
part.
is not a slow ballad. It's got a bass to it. It's got a.
Yeah,
a
it's like I got a
thump to
dung,
it.
dung, 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 kind of like core.
It's not
beat
Sarah
going.
McLachlan, is it? I mean, come on. It's like Rainbow Connection all over again. You just sat there with an acoustic banjo.
I just want now I'm just picturing Vecna with Puss in Boots eyes, just like please don't send me to the pound.
Oh dear.
In the vines of a Vecna. Yeah.
Come on. You've got to have
That's what I'm
something with a thump to it. Oh, I feel attacked.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve. We love you. The other choices in that
There's
mix
nothing
were
wrong.
great.
Dream a little dream. Vecna's choice. Dream a little dream.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's like going for. I mean, Annie Lennox. It depends what Annie Lennox has
Yeah.
sung. Yes. Okay. It's a little more thumping than. I don't know. I'm thinking too much about it. Dream a Little Dream is about as slow as it gets. You are right in that, though.
Yeah, that is true.
Really is, actually, after thinking about that. Anyway,
Yeah.
thank you, everyone, for
Throwing some very fun
throwing some
suggestions
Vecna
out
songs.
there. Yeah.
The Goblin soundtrack from Suspiria. Yes.
I mean,
Although it would probably hype Vecna up even more.
I know. It's like,
Vecna
oh, you're
would be
just putting a
really into
soundtrack
it.
to my
Ooh.
villainy right now. Yeah. This might make him more productive. I don't know.
You know, for the longest time, the Suspiria theme was my alarm tone in the morning. But then I watched Suspiria, I rewatched Suspiria and was like, I felt like something was off. Like, I've got to turn my phone off or something. Like, what's going on? So I had to change my alarm tone because it was just ruining Suspiria for me.
Oh, yes. Oh, Action by David Hasselhoff. Okay.
Absolutely not.
Burn, baby, burn. Disco Inferno.
Burn, baby, burn.
I think Maniac would be a good one.
Maniac would be a good one.
Yes. I love that song. That's like my productive song. Like I'll be like, I literally was in the library, had music playing in my headphones. I was working on a paper.
Footloose.
That song came on, and I just like started like feverishly typing to the beat and like got all into it.
Footloose.
Yeah, Maniac. Maybe the never song he's like in the warehouse dancing. Might be that one, might be more.
No,
intense.
just actually Footloose. Footloose is pretty.
Yeah. Okay. It's
gets you dancing. Gets me dancing.
Takes you out of a negative Vecna headspace, I think.
Oh yeah. Other Kenny Loggins songs. Not Danger Zone. You don't want to go into the danger zone. You want to go away from the danger zone.
You want to get out of the danger zone.
I went out the danger zone.
Oh my gosh.
Take me away from the danger zone. Oh dear.
These are some good suggestions, guys. I like it.
They are. Sufjan Stevens' Impossible Soul is 24 minutes long, so at least I'd have variety. Yes. That'll give you so much time. You've got so much time. You could stroll away from Vecna.
Yeah.
Stroll away from Vecna. Maniac will be a good one, though. I keep thinking about that now.
Yes, I think that would definitely
That's a real intense thumping. I don't know why I keep saying thumping, but you just need you need a good
quick
beat.
Pace beat. Yeah.
You need a quick beat.
Yeah.
I just feel for a Vecna song. But yes, do we have anything else we would like to say, Janine, about the finale of Stranger Things season 4 that's really just a season of setup?
I mean, are you excited for season 5? I know Steve mentioned a potential time jump.
A time jump? Oh, I tell you what, then they might actually look their age.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of needed. I mean, I really loved the reunion, the 11 and Hopper reunion. I thought that was really sweet. And
yes, no, it was. It was unbelievable. Steve also says, "Queens Who Wants to Live Forever" is not a good Vecna song.
Yeah.
Who wants to live forever? Vecna's just in there in the background going, "Me."
I do.
I do. Me, please. Oh dear. Patrick also says there's a Footloose scene in Umbrella Academy season 3. Morgan has never seen a frame of the Umbrella Academy.
And Steve brought up, I believe, The Boys, another show that Morgan doesn't watch. So
I don't. Do you know what? I don't. There's only so much TV I can watch.
I think you would. You should check out The Boys, though.
I think I would like both of those shows, but I
only watched season 1 of Umbrella Academy, but I didn't continue. Not that I didn't like it. It was at a time of peak, other things happening, so I couldn't get into a new
Kim
show.
Kimber Hayer says, I wasn't excited for season 4, to be honest. I thought the wait was too long, but they immediately sucked me back in and delivered, in her opinion, the best season
Okay.
yet. I do think it was a very, very good season, story-wise. I do think it was a very, very good season. I just think it was not a finale of a finale.
Yes, I would have been a fan of like the sneaky, we think everything's good, but it's not. There's an underlying thing happening. So I kind of liked them keeping up that trend of things. Because yeah, that's made it feel like a full kind of season with a closing that had the opening to go somewhere else. Whereas this was like, yeah, like it literally feels like another episode is coming, you know?
It does. Exactly. I was waiting for, okay, the actual finale is going to come in 2 weeks, is it? Or next Friday or something like that. Tom also
Yeah,
brings up a good point here. Morgan has to let these shows age for 40 years before watching is very true.
essentially, yeah. If it's popular and everyone's telling him to do it,
Tom
and it's
also
not
said it
something
felt
he's
very
aware of,
Empire Strikes Back, which is a fair point.
I could see
But
that.
it's, I don't know. I was satisfied with the season, definitely, because there's some phenomenal storytelling going on.
Yeah.
But I was dissatisfied with the way it ended because it didn't feel like it ended.
I agree. I really loved this season. I was sucked in. I liked the storytelling aspects. I liked the twists in there with our big bad and like the connection to 11, the connection to what we've seen up to this point, that he was kind of the impetus for all of these things, that you were kind of telling stories about other characters only to have it be part of this whole connected thing. I thought that was really cool. Um, with the Henry Vecna one orderly,
Yeah.
all of those layers peeling back was just really cool, I thought. But yeah, I just was a little let down by the ending, a little let down that they didn't fully commit to things, a little let down that a core group really kind of got sidelined and didn't have much to do, because it was cool getting to see everyone have something to contribute. And then when our kind of party with 11 didn't really have much to do at the big kind of moment, they had fun things that they could do and incorporate through the whole season up to like the biggest point where you would want to see them do something and they can't. That was kind of a bummer, because you want to see everybody have a moment in a big thing like that. So those were kind of the things that just I didn't really, I had a hard time with. And like I said, I did kind of want more resolution to the mob mentality situation.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, thinking about that, there was barely anything. I mean, what was his name? Jason? Is his name
Yeah, and like
Jason?
where his body was laying after the fight just got sliced in half by the world ripping apart, and I think that was kind of,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so like nothing really
That's the
came
end
of
of
it.
that.
Also very sad that like Eddie's name didn't get cleared by the end of this, so I don't know if that's something that's going to happen later, or like it's going to be
You'd like to
Dustin
think so.
Dustin's mission to,
Yeah,
so
you'd
I
like
hope they
to
don't
think
just
so.
end it there where the town just forever thinks that Eddie did all of these terrible things and that Hellfire is actually like some demon cult. So I hope those things get resolved in some
And this,
aspect later, and
yeah,
that's why it didn't get resolved here. But if this is how they're leaving those things, I will be a bit frustrated.
that's something. I mean, that's something you could really interestingly play about too, which is obviously a part of this season, is the upstanding white Christian community of
Yes.
Hawkins hating on the supposed satanic hellfire thing.
Yeah.
It's in there, but is it explored in a thematic sense? No.
Yeah.
No. I want this to be all kinds of, I want this to be a bit satirical. A little bit. And it
Yeah.
wasn't. And this is, again, I just think this is Stranger Things doing, it's harsh to say surface level. Stranger Things doing storytelling well, but thematically not being bold.
Yeah. And I think this was like the season that they were kind of promoting as the most theatrical kind of
Yeah.
season. where they're going to do big things and you have explosions and these big action set pieces and all of these things, that this would have been the season to really have a big kill that would impact like kind of going down the road. But then they
Tom makes a good
feels
point.
like they chickened out, you know.
I like that he had an unceremonious death. He doesn't deserve me. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking for some sort of religious satire in a show that it was never going to use it. But then I would question: should it be even in there in the first place to make them very obviously we are the good upstanding Christians based, going against the supposed Satanists?
Yeah.
Does it even need to be that? Why can't it just be we're bullies going against the weirdos?
Yeah, but I think that's not how you don't get the town behind you with that. You get the town
You don't
behind
get
you
the town.
with fears of even like that. But that was kind of, I think, kind of something that parents were kind of freaking out about in the 80s anyway. So it's not like it was a made up kind of thing for the show. I think that's kind of something that was happening anyway. So to kind of just peek into that time period of like radicalization of parents in things they just didn't understand or try to understand. But like, yeah, that was such a big kind of part of driving a lot of this story that like it was kind of weird that they didn't really do much with it at the end,
Yeah,
but I liked seeing Lucas kick his ass. That was fun. So
yes. Yes. What else do we have in here? Tom said before that Steve said before actually, a new series just manifested. Is Morgan satisfied? I don't think we can maybe that can be a fun thing we can do. Is Morgan satisfied? And Tom came up with a rating system of 1 out of 10 turtlenecks. Which I actually think, you know what, we can start doing that sort of stuff if you want.
Yes,
Is Morgan, we can
make
it part of shows. We can make it part of the shows and the streams and other things. Is Morgan satisfied? And give it a rating out of turtlenecks.
Yes, I think that's very accurate. Yes, there were a lot of. I mean, I think that was purpose casting, having Robert Englund in there, Freddy Krueger himself, and the fact that like Nancy was the one to get kind of trapped in his dream to have him show her things, him kind of chasing her around and showing her elements and saying Nancy this and Nancy that felt very much Nightmare on Elm Street. The fact that his song was the Dream a Little Dream song, definitely I think played into the dream elements of Nightmare on Elm Street. So yes, about the way they kind of peppered that influence in there, I thought was really fun, Eric.
Yeah, definitely. I was saying the storytelling is generally great.
And I also kind of low-key, they had some moments where all the kids' parents like kind of came together and just like gave each other these looks when the kind of mob was like getting riled up by Jason in that kind of town hall meeting. So I thought there would be a kind of a fun thing where all the parents maybe kind of came together and worked together to protect their kids in some way. But then nothing ever came of that, because I saw Tom comment, yeah, like we don't really see any of the adults aside from Joyce and Hopper. But I mean, I think they were trying to maybe throw more things in there for Mike and Nancy's mom, because she's great. I loved her kind of storyline with Billy, and Mr. Wheeler's the worst. Like, I wish they would.
He really is. He's such an unlikable person.
He's the worst. Like, just kill him. And
he's such a grumpy, horrible, miserable person.
Even when Nancy is talking about what Vecna showed her, and she said she saw her dead mom and dead Mike and her dead little sister, she doesn't even say anything about her dad. Mr. Wheeler is the fucking worst. And yeah, but I thought there was going to be a buildup to like the parents maybe getting in more involved and like all those looks, Dustin's mom and Mike and Nancy's mom and Lucas's mom kind of just looking at each other and trying to figure things out and all kind of coming together to figure out where their kids are and what's happening. Like, I thought that would have been a cool moment to kind of maybe bring them in a side element of them trying to figure out or protect their kids. I saw a really interesting theory because there were these posters superimposing a character above like a building that is associated with them. So like and there was one of them, and like all the buildings are like places they've been, that character's been, or that places like associated with that character. So there was one with 11 superimposed over the creepy house, but they also had
Okay.
one of Mike and Nancy's mom superimposed above that house. So people thought maybe she was kind of some secret descendant or relative, or she might have had some more thing to play into it, and there would have been some weird reveal where she'd have to kind of come in and step up for her kids or something, because she would have had some relation. And I thought that was like a really cool kind of theory that they could have done something with. But obviously, yeah, they just didn't really do anything with the parents.
Unfortunately, I just wanted to put this up as we begin to wrap up here. Tom says that's because Mr. Wheeler survives season 5. He pulls a full Arya and will kill Vecna. If he
Yeah.
if he
Mr.
does
Wheeler,
that,
hero of the whole show.
if he does that, I will.
Oh my god.
I don't know what I'll think. I don't know what I'll think, to be honest with you. I will not be very pleased.
Excited about that. No.
I will not be very into that. But Janine, I think we've had a lovely stream today.
Yes.
If anybody wants to try one last time,
I mean, I've saw some comments that I think are primed to win this prize. So
make us laugh in the chat for the chance to win art. You know what you got to do. Janine, show the art again.
I mean, I think I've already kind of picked the winner in my mind.
Oh,
so.
okay, wow.
I mean, there were some pretty funny lines that people were throwing at
There
us.
it is. There it is. But yes. I mean, we do have a faceless man in the situation now, don't we?
We do. His voice is just so distinct that I was just
It
waiting.
really is.
Like I was waiting to hear.
A man has no name.
Yes.
Just every time he says
His voice
anything,
is great.
every sentence he says is exactly the same intonation. It's great.
Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, I think, Janine, we are going to have to call our Stranger Things discussion stream there. What do you say?
I say yes. I concur.
Thank you so very much for a wonderful interactive chat today. A great many people today. Lovely, lovely conversation. Lovely discussion. Lovely people in the chat. Fun art giveaways. There was more people here as well.
I know.
That
Just
didn't say hi. But that's fine. We like that too. Thank you to let's try and name all the people I've seen in the chat. I've seen Tom, Kimber, Steve, Heather, Eric, Janine's lovely husband, Patrick.
Yes.
Someone else. Is anybody else in the chat? I don't think so. Possibly.
Yes.
I apologize if I've forgotten about anybody else.
Well, I think I've decided. So I will post it on Twitter, and you will find out if you were the winner of this art piece.
Yes, Janine's also put the print shop up that we have. We've also got links in the description. There's been a banner going across the bottom of the screen all stream as well for our Twitters and Patreon and donation if you would like to do any of that craziness. All links in the description, which should be there. I think they're there. I think I remember putting them in there. But that in the chat right now is where you can go and get any of Janine's prints from, or anything like that. Anything else, Janine?
Just solid season. I really enjoyed it. It had me on the edge of my seat in moments and had me very emotional at other moments, and really threw some fun, interesting, very cinematic things out there. So definitely bigger than anything they've done. Some issues towards the end, really, not feeling like a pure conclusion to a season. But I'm still excited to see what's next with these characters. So
Definitely. And for God's sake, please kill someone significant,
yes,
because you will
R.I.P. Eddie.
really feel
Yes.
like, yeah, it just needs to happen. It will feel too safe, and I think the legacy of Stranger Things will not be as good as it probably deserves to be if they, I'm going to say, chicken out in
Yes.
season 5. I don't want them to do that.
You did talk about having the Suspiria
Yes.
alarm. They actually have a Eddie Munson alarm sound, Kimber. So if you want to wake up to Eddie, it's pretty great. Him shouting at Chrissy to wake up. Somebody on TikTok actually turned that into like a song
Terrible.
that you could use as an alarm.
Terrible.
So I will, if you haven't heard it, Kimber, I will send it to you.
Well, we should say as well, I mean, we know what the country may be like, but I suppose to all Americans watching, happy 4th of July for tomorrow.
Sure.
Because it's the 4th of July tomorrow.
That's a thing that's happening.
Enjoy your day off is all I'll say.
Yes.
Enjoy your day off.
Yeah.
We do have an episode of Monday Madness tomorrow, a very fun one as well. So keep an eye out for that, because you can find Monday Madness in its full video glory on this YouTube channel. Subscribe here, ding your notification bells, leave all your likes and your comments and all the craziness for all the fun stuff there. And keep an eye out for Monday Madness tomorrow. Watch-alongs that we have on here, other fun videos, other discussions like this. Next week we'll be doing one on Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yes. So please come chill with us then.
Out. It's always fun. We mainly live, though, of course, on the It's a Wonderful podcast feed, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Monday with the audio of Monday Madness. Wednesday with Morgan Hasn't Seen, and Friday with It's a Wonderful Podcast, the main show itself. Find it all places podcasts can be found. Our Twitters are right down on the bottom of the screen. Yes, Kimber says Taika Waititi, heart eyes. I say Tessa Thompson, heart eyes.
Yes, and yay!
Obviously.
I always like a good Steve and Heather reunion story. So
a Steve and Heather reunion story, lovely. We do like this. It'll be as emotional as a reunion as we got at the end of this season of Stranger Things. Janine, I think there's only one thing left to do. You can either do it in a stereotypically Russian accent or in an impression of Tom Hlasika, or however you pronounce it.
Oh, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do a good Russian accent either. I think you should do it with a
I'm not going to do it.
Boy going through puberty voice instead.
I can't do that now, can I? As my voice did that many years ago. 3, 2, 1. I don't. That just sounds like somebody choking.
Yeah,
Bye. This is why you do the countdowns, Janine. I'm terrible.